Hey there, Prabhu here, and welcome to the video. So back on November, I announced this little project of creating a playable map for the game Insurgency Sandstorm. On the last video, I covered my insights on how I planned and created the block codes for this map. I also tried implementing the game mechanics, but I ultimately failed to load it in game properly. But anyways, I posted that video deciding to do the fixes on a later video, and this is that later video. So welcome to the video. First things first, after when I'm done uploading that video, I got some pretty nice comments from my friends as well as people from the modding community. They sure do mean a lot and they did really put a smile on me. And I'm extremely thankful for the feedback I got from the modders especially. They were citing things that went wrong in my implementation side of things. But thanks to them, as I knew where I made my mistakes. You see, the game uses many levels or maps within the engine to load a map with the selected game mode. How do I explain? So, typically, a playable map with a playable game mode is drawn by the engine like this. When a player selects the map and the game mode to go with, the game engine takes in that command and loads the map accordingly. The very first thing, the engine has to load a main map, which would typically contain all the 3D assets, light setups, and visually seeable things. You get what I'm saying, right? And based on the game mode or scenario that the player has requested, it would load a corresponding map or a sub-level on top of this already existing main map. Now this sublevel is basically a map which just contains all the backend information like the spawn points for players, the navigation information for boards, where the objective is located, how long the objective area is defined on the map, the minimap, the UI cameras, and basically everything. It's like the backbrain of the entire functionality of the gameplay. Sometimes there might be just one sublevel for a map, sometimes there might be many. And then finally the engine merges both of these maps together and renders a playable level for the player. And then you die. Now the reason why I failed to load the map on my previous video is because I completely ignored the concept of sublevels, and I had all the gameplay elements loaded on the main level. Now this should have worked nevertheless, but then I also had the scenario settings wrong, which were all referring to a sublevel which was basically empty. Hence error loading game mode assets. Learning from my mistakes, it is now that we make things the right way. So 2021 has been 2021 2021. Okay, here we go. 2021 is here, and what a good way there is than to kick off the year actually finishing something what we started. Seriously, it feels like I'm just a few months in from 2020 and it has already entered. 2020 still feels new to me, and we're already 10 days past 2021. Nevertheless, January is here, and at the time of posting this video, I'll be just left with 16 more days to submit the final map for this contest. Now, 16 days is all I have for environment designing, and I haven't even decided on the theme yet, but I'm sure that I can do it, and we will have another video on that later on. And yeah, welcome to the video again. With all the information I received, instead of trying to fix several things, I decided to start over. I once again created a new mode, copy-pasted just the 3D geometries from the previous file I made, and this time I followed this video to set up the map and scenario correctly, plus followed the game mode setups from these written guides. I'll make sure I'll leave a link in the description, maybe if you need that in case. After when I'm done with everything, especially the essential things that's required to run it in game, I tried to run the game in the editor. So, like how do I say, it was one of the most adrenaline pumping moments in my life. The thing was loading, and or at least I thought it was. So it turns out you gotta use this option to load it, and damn. My map is now playable. It might be overwhelming, but that moment felt good. So initial impressions, I'm surprised how the map proportioned very well with regards to the player perspective. Following these values and sticking to them surely did help me in this result, but I was afraid Like previously, I was afraid of getting wrong with the proportions, and it was a big relief that this turned out almost perfectly. Now I say almost because there are still many things needed to fix, and since I do not have time for just another version of block codes, I'll be doing these fixes in the environment design phase. So overall, I'm just surprised I did this. The map now loads in game perfectly, which means we can only improve from this point later on. And uh, and yeah, it feels good. Now the bots aren't moving because I haven't built them the navigation system yet, and that will let me do some amazing pro plays. This record will never be broken. Did I mention that my map made the game support a third-person camera? A little bonus, I would say. And so things are working now, and that means I could keep enhancing the playable experience. I brought back the colors in, added lights to the interiors as they were previously too dark before. So here's the thing, I personally do not like maps that have dark areas on them. I visually like them a lot, but when playing on that map and having an enemy right before your eyes and not noticing them, it really sucks. This was my problem with Battlefield games, particularly. The show does look beautiful. It's extremely detailed, like it's highly detailed to the point of realism, but it's really difficult to spot enemies. Now, many maps in Insurgency also have these issues, mainly because these maps are in open area where foliage is plenty. So when I decided to make a map, I took to myself to make it easy for the player visibility. And I should follow the same while doing the environment designs. Moving on, I added the navigation instructions for the boards and loaded the map again. And will you look at that? Pretty advanced AI, and one day they will do Fortnite dances on our corpses. But for now, the map really looks lively, and we have a basic playable map. The very first version of the map is now ready, and I published the map on mod.io. The game uses mod.io as a platform to host and support third-party mods. From here, players can easily upload their mod and download other mods to load it in their custom games. So I could have moved to the environment design phase right then, but I wanted to make sure that my map supports everything backend and every possible playable, compatible, workable scenarios. So earlier I saw a person commenting on my post suggesting to implement a firefight game mode. It seemed like a good idea because you see, competitive firefight is a 5v5 game mode. There are 3 objectives again, and there are no immediate respawns like in domination or deathmatch modes. The goal in firefight mode is to capture all the objectives or eliminate the entire enemy team. If a player dies, he'll respawn only when his team captures an objective. There are multiple rounds, and a team to reach the specified amount of round wins a match. This calls for a more disciplined gameplay rather rushing and dying like in domination or deathmatch modes. And since my map layout is small, I guess this game mode could play well. And so, referring from the guide again, I set up gameplay elements and level for this mode. The setup is almost actually same except for a few add-ons like restricted areas. Now the restricted areas make sure that you do not get spawn killed. If you're an insurgent and you enter near the security team's spawn, within a few seconds you lose the ability to shoot, and the same goes for the other team. This makes sure that when you spawn you don't get killed before you could actually see them. Now the domination and fire modes essentially need a map radar for players reference. So I took a screenshot and went in Photoshop and made a radar map. And so Firefight game mode was done, and I proceeded to make just one more final game mode, the Deathmatch game mode. It carries on the similar level setup, but this time all the objectives are disabled and only kills matter towards the team score. I went playtesting again, and I noticed how my FPS dropped pretty badly near these lights. So I removed them all and replaced with the blueprint lights that came in the game asset folder. And a bonus, they look really clean and better than before. I guess I have played the map for like 30 times at this point, and I noticed 2 things, and they're not really good. I almost never saw the bots using these bridges, particularly the higher ones. They did manage to navigate properly when they spawn on them, but other than that, they don't really use them much. I raised the navigation bound volume up higher to see if it could affect anything, but still got no luck. I guess the bots always use an easier way to get around. The second thing, and a more important one, the bots rarely go to the seaside. Even in the firefight mode where objective capturing is highly essential, the bots simply didn't give a damn. I made the slopes leading to the site less steep so they could climb without burning much calories, and shortly after that I did definitely saw a few of them actually using the site. I guess we could take that as a win. While testing the firefight mode, I noticed something really odd again. By default, at the start of every match, the security always had A site captured, which is near the insurgent spawn, and that is not good. Meanwhile, insurgents had C, while B site near security spawn was left uncaptured. It surely didn't look good on paper, and with the help of Discord community again, I changed the order of these objectives and updated the map radar image accordingly. The insurgents now have C by default and A is given to the security, while B is now left uncaptured. In case of human players, this leads to a common goal of acquiring B site, or sometimes they could even lurk and sneak into each other's objectives while B site is kept busy. Now all this analysis comes from me playing the map with the bots especially, but I'm pretty sure the map will play out completely different with human players around. I was going through the guide again and I noticed something, AI cover actors. And when you look at that, I could teach these bots after all. Now, the AI cover actors are the things that constantly remind the bot of the positions they can take. For example, a human player could easily use his brain to analyze the map, and he would typically take shots from beside a cover, like beside a box or behind a window. But the bots do things very randomly. Sometimes I often see these guys lying down in an open area, and many times I would think that these are just dead bodies lying around, and then they start shooting you and then you die. Maybe they're just playing dumb and you fall for it, and then they take over the world. So I proceeded to add these cover points in several positions that I would think would be ideal for the bots, both defense and attack. I made sure I added them plenty, but not everywhere. I still like the randomness that played in between these sites. I added these cover actors on each of the objective sites, on this building over here, over here, over here, and over here. You can give rank numbers to these cover actors, meaning that the bot will prioritize a cover based on the rank that you gave to those covers. Say you have two cover actors of rank 0 and rank 1 near this bot. This would lead a higher chance for the bot to pick this cover of higher rank, which is actually here. The default rank of these cover points are 0, but then I gave a rank 1 to these pretty major positions throughout the map. I gave rank 2s for many actors on the bridge, thinking maybe the bots will use the bridge, but I don't really know. Maybe it works or maybe it doesn't. And after adding these tweaks, I just saw a lot of improvements basically. The bots are finally using the B side thanks to that slope variation, and most importantly, they're all using cover actors. Just look at this footage, for example. I'm near this area, I'm taking shots, and you see these three bots over on top of this building, and they are perfectly like standing on the cover actor I put on that place. And also, like in here, this guy killed two of us while ducking in the corner. The bots have now evolved to be a successful camper, and it's only a matter of time until they have all become self-aware. Maybe we should just, do something about it. I think it's a wrap, and there you have it. This is my map, now 100% working in game with 3 different game modes. And yeah, if you have the game, you can use the mod page, links in the description to download and play it in game. The instructions are in the mod page description, so you could follow that. I should take this moment to thank these wonderful people in the modding community's Discord server. I encountered several technical issues while exporting the map for testing, and without the help of them, I could never have done the troubleshooting on my own. So all is done, and there's just one more final ocean to be crossed, and that's the environment design phase. Like I said, I haven't decided on the theme yet, let alone finding assets for that theme, The map may look small, but I think it would be a great challenge to dress this thing up, and 15 more days is all I have got to do, including the optimization, testing and whatnot. Nonetheless, I'm excited to do this thing, and let's see what I end up creating. I'll leave a link to the gameplay of this map in the video description in case you want to see them. Now, I don't really know to whom I'm speaking all these things to. This wasn't really a tutorial video, so I'm guessing not very much people. But hey, if you have stuck around until this very end, thanks to you. But end of the day, I make these videos sort of like a diary to share my own progress, and I hope you found something helpful with what I shared here. And if you could leave some feedback in those comments, it would really make my day. So anyways, thanks to you. So that's it for now, I guess, and I'll see you guys in another follow-up video once I'm done with the environment phase. So bye.